For a long time, fans of the God of War series have been wondering what comes next for Kratos after God of War Ragnarok and its Valhalla DLC. Both of those entries gave us thrilling action and emotional storytelling, but they also left the story in a place that felt unfinished. Kratos, Atreus, and the rest of the characters all had their paths open-ended, making fans question where Sony Santa Monica would take the franchise. Now, new stories are pointing us toward the answer, that is ancient Egypt, where Kratos wields an Egyptian sword in the next mainline God of War game, insider claim source. Since the release of Ragnarok in 2022, talk around the future of the franchise has been full of speculation. One idea that kept resurfacing was that Santa Monica Studio was developing two different projects. First one is a smaller scale, Metroidvania-style prequel set in ancient Greece, back when Kratos was younger, and the second one is a full mainline God of War game that moves Kratos to ancient Egypt. The Greek prequel, rumored, suggests a tighter, more experimental game, possibly similar in style to side-scrolling adventures, with the focus being on Kratos' early days. Meanwhile, the Egyptian rumors always sounded bigger and closer to the next true sequel to Ragnarok. For months, nothing was confirmed. Sony has stayed completely silent, giving no official announcements. But now, thanks to Insider Gaming's Tom Henderson, the Egyptian theory has gained much more weight. Kratos' new weapon, that is the Egyptian sword. According to Tom Henderson, the next mainline God of War will see Kratos take on a new iconic weapon, a curved Egyptian sword. On his podcast, he explained that there had been some confusion because both the Greek prequel and the Egyptian mainline game are in development at the same time. This caused people to mix up the details. When pressed about what weapon Kratos might be using, Henderson described it as like an Egyptian sword, the curved kind. The host compared it to something you might see in The Prince of Persia, which uses scimitars. However, if the game is truly set in ancient Egypt, the most likely weapon is the khopesh. The khopesh is a sickle-shaped sword, very different from the sleek often shown in movies and games. It was one of the most famous weapons of ancient Egypt and symbolized both power and status. It makes sense for Kratos to adopt a weapon tied to Egyptian mythology, just like he carried the Blades of Chaos in Greece and the Leviathan axe in the Norse saga. In other words, every new God of War era gives Kratos a weapon that reflects the culture he's fighting through, and the khopesh could be the Egyptian equivalent. When could the game arrive? This brings us the big question fans are asking: when will this Egyptian God of War game to be released? Nothing is confirmed, but several rumors have hinted at two possible directions. At one point, it was believed that Santa Monica was working on a half sequel similar to Uncharted: The Lost Legacy or Spider-Man Miles Morales. These games are shorter, more focused stories that reuse some assets but still deliver fresh experiences. That could have been the Greek prequel, which may or may not still be in the works. Other one is, meanwhile, the mainline game in Egypt is said to be bigger in scope and could be targeted for the launch of the PlayStation 6, which is rumored for 2027. If that is true, the game may still be several years away. Still, considering that it has already been 3 years since God of War Ragnarok and 2 years since the Valhalla DLC, many believe that Sony will share at least a teaser very soon. Some fans even think that we might need to hear something at the next PlayStation State of Play, which has been heavily rumored to happen next week. And why ancient Egypt makes sense. God of War has always been about mythology and gods, and Kratos' journey has taken him through different pantheons. After Greece and the Norse world, Egypt feels like the next natural step. The Egyptian gods such as Ra, Anubis, Osiris, Set, and many other gods are some of the most famous mythological figures in the world. They also offer a very different visual style and setting compared to snowy Midgard or the rocky lands of Greece. Imagine Kratos walking through deserts, pyramids, and great temples, fighting against monstrous creatures from Egyptian legend. The khopesh sword also gives plenty of new gameplay possibilities. With its unique sickle shape, it could allow for hooking attacks, disarming enemies, or even controlling multiple foes at just once. Just as the Leviathan axe added the satisfying mechanic of throwing and recalling the weapon, the khopesh could also bring its own special style. For now, the franchise future beyond games is that it's not just about video games either. Sony clearly sees God of War as one of its biggest brands, and Amazon TV series is already in development, led by Ronald D. Moore, the showrunner behind For All Mankind. This means Kratos' story will soon reach an even wider audience. With TV games and possibly even spin-off projects in the works, Sony is making sure that God of War stays relevant for many years to come. come. So finally we can say that while nothing has been officially confirmed yet, the pieces are starting to come together. The rumor that Kratos will wield an Egyptian sword strongly suggests that the next big step in the franchise will be set in ancient Egypt. If true, we could be looking at an entirely new saga for Kratos filled with new gods, new myths, and as well as new weapons. Fans are now eager for answers, and after years of silence, Sony may finally be ready to reveal what's next for the Ghost of Sparta. Whether it's all the next state of play or later, one thing is clear: the future of God of War is far from over. And new job listing also hints at the future of the God of War. It looks like that Sony Santa Monica is quietly preparing for the next big God of War game. A new job listing also from the studio asks for people that fluent in the comeback design choices, systems, mechanics, and enemies of the past God of War games. This is a clear sign that the team is working on something new for the series. Insider Gaming Tom Henderson also recently already posted and claimed that the next mainline God of War is already in development, and of course fans always expected another game to eventually arrive, but the big question has been, what will it look like? At the end of God of War Ragnarok, Atreus left on his own to search for the giants, while Kratos and Freya remained behind to guide the Norse realm. This ending opened the door to many possible directions for the story. By the way, the new job listing however suggests that Kratos himself will return as the star of the next game, which wasn't guaranteed after how Ragnarok finished. Even more exciting, it might finally be the time for Kratos to journey to ancient Egypt. This setting has been heavily rumored for years, and fans have long asked for Kratos to face Egyptian gods like Anubis or Osiris. And fortunately, we already know that Henderson is back with some new info to potentially clear things up. In the most recent podcast, he already claims that the new mainline God of War is in development, but drops a bit of bombshell by claiming that Kratos will be equipped with an Egyptian sword this time around, which is obviously implies two things: that the next God of War will be set in Egypt, but nothing is confirmed yet, so it's best to take this with caution. Still, it feels like the most logical path forward for the series. With a rumored PlayStation State of Play showcase happening very soon, there's a chance we could hear more, and Sony might reveal the smaller Greek era project first, but imagine if they also gave us a first look at Kratos standing against the Egyptian gods. That would definitely steal the show. So lastly, what do you think, guys? Let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think, that Kratos will actually face the Egyptian gods next, or will Sony surprise us with something completely unexpected? Let me know in the comments below, guys. I love to hear your thoughts, and hit the like button and subscribe our channel for more notifications. The bell icon, bro, that's the most important thing of all time. Do click it because you guys deserve the notifications sooner, and we will be covering up every God of War topics here on in this channel, from official news to rumors to music and much more, and fan-made trailers also, guys. So do subscribe for more, guys, and thank you for all the love and support you guys have given us. Take care, stay tuned for more updates, and see you all in our next video. This is Capix Gaming, and goodbye.